Yeah, no. The best of Benji. Anyway, we have again this parak is sadistic parak of Mudah Name Chaveroi and Mudah Meni Michael. We said differences in the beginning of began the parak. You Mudah Hano, you won't be able to walk in a person's field. If you Mudah Michael, you would be able to walk in a person's field. And so again, this what about the Shemitah year? We know the Shemitah year that the food is hefker; it's no longer your food, and we know that you're allowed to go into a person's field to get the food, right? So let's see this is the sugya this evening. Hamudah page Mem Beis Amid Aleph the Mishnah at the top. Hamudah Hana Mechaveroi. If someone goes ahead and says that he can't have enough from his friend, Lefnei Shvius before Shvius, Eina Yoyrid L'Toich Sadeu. He can't go down L'Toich Sadeu. Now, it's before the Shemitah year. You are Mudah Hana, so of course he can't go into his field because it's also to walk on his property. And you can't eat from the produce again because you would be having enough. That seems to be, an obvious thing that this is something that you can't do. Ubashvius. Now, there's two possibilities, guys. Either the neder was made before Shvius, and now the Shvius here comes, and you have the neder, existing neder. Does anything change? Ubashvius, einu yoyrid l'toich sadehu. You wouldn't be able to go mitoch sadehu. Aval oichel hu min hanetiyas hanoitas. You would be able to eat the produce. So if you made the neder beforehand, there's two ways to learn, guys. You made the neder beforehand, and now as soon as the comes to Shemitah year, you would be able to eat the fruit because you can't asa something that is no longer in your rishus. That's one way to learn. Or you can learn this way. There's two separate nedarim. You made a neder before the Shemitah year, or you made a neder during the Shemitah year. So if you made a neder before the Shemitah year, everything's asa. If you made a neder during the Shemitah year, the drisas going into the land is asa. The Gemara is going to ask why. After all, it's hefker, and the produce is mutter because it's hefker. And the Gemara is going to ask, so what's the difference? The land's also hefker. Okay, but those are two ways to learn, guys. You understand? There's two ways to learn, fellas. They're very important. Two ways to learn. That the Mishnah is learning one neder, right? The Mishnah is wanting to learn neder. And we're going to see that seems to be the machlokes in the Gemara. The Mishnah is learning one neder. I make a neder before the Shemitah year. What's the din? Two possibilities. Let's deal with two things. One, the hana of the land, and two, the hana of the fruit. They're both usher. Clearly, that's a classic mudah hana. It has nothing to do with Shemitah. It's year 1 through 6. Good. Now comes the Shemitah year. I don't make a new neder. What happens? I can't go on the land, but I could eat the fruit. Why? Why would that be? We'll see in the Gemara Svara, a person can't asa something that is no longer his. Or no, the Mishnah is speaking two separate nedarim. One before the Shemitah year, that's one halacha, and now I make a new neder in the Shemitah year, and I would be able to go on the field because I wouldn't be able to go on the field, but I could eat the fruit. The fruit is hefker. The Gemara is going to ask if the fruit is hefker, the field is also hefker, so you should be able to go on the field. Well, those are the two drachim how to learn the Mishnah. Okay. Nedarim menu Michael. Now, what about Mudah Michael? In other words, the first is Mudah Hana completely. The second case is when you're Nedarim menu Michael. You make a neder about you're not going to go ahead and eat food. Lefnei Shvius Yordutar Sadeu, because again you never acid drisas haregel. You never acid drisas haregel, right? And therefore that would be permitted, right? The Eino Oichel Min HaPeiros, because that's food. Uba Shvius Yoyrid Vaychel and Shvius you can go in and eat. Okay, that's the Mishnah. Okay, we're going to see a machlokes in the Gemara between Rav and Shmuel, guys. Rav and Shmuel versus Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. It's usually they're against each other. Okay, they're teaming up. Yeah. Good. And the question is we're going to end up in the Gemara. There's no machlokes at all. We're going to end up in no machlokes at all. Now, is there a difference, guys? Nechasai, my property, is also, or nechasa elu, these properties are asa. Guys, look at me, guys. Nechasai, my property is asa. Nechasam elu, these properties are asa. If it's nechasai, my property, what happens when it's no longer my property? Then it's muta. But nechasam elu, then these property has nothing to do with me. Then it would always be asa. In other words, elu nechasai is a much more comprehensive lashon to aser. Nechasai, you're limited to possession of your possession. My nechasai. But once it becomes nechasai elu, these nechasim, then already it's much more comprehensive. It's not subject to me. So if I'm out of the picture, it's still usher. So we're going to see that we're going to end up that we think it's a machloikis. It's going to end up everyone's moida by nechasai, the ned is off once the guy's out of the picture, and everyone's moida in nechasim elu that the ned is on even when the guy's outside the picture. That's going to be the kivun of the Gemara. Okay, says the Gemara. Rabu Shmuel Damit Travayu, they're both of the opinion. Now, let's change the girsa. Right now, let's change the girsa. We may come back to it, but right now, let's change the girsa. If you look at the Bach, Rabu Shmuel Damit Travayu, Nechasai Alecha, Kach Tzarech Loimar, Va'ois Mem, V'tevis Elu Nimchak. Take out the word, the mem, in the end, take out the word in the chasim, take out the last mem, guys, take out the word elu, and read it as what? Yam Shavayu nechasai alecha, meaning my nechasim are on you, lifnei shvius. If they make the before shvius, so I'm answering what? My nechasim. Again, that's limiting mine, right? Lifnei shvius ein yaru tefsadeyu. Correct. Can you go in the field? No. Why not? Because why? It's you're not allowed. It's my nechasai. The ein oichel min anoitis. Why? Because you can have enough. Now, even then when it reaches Shvius, so guys, the way Rav and Shmuel has learned Pshat in the Mishnah, that the neder that you made beforehand extends into the Shemitah year. What is he saying? Afal pi, even though Shegia Shvius, it's still asa. Even though, right, it's still asa. You didn't make a new neder. It's still asa. The imbish Shvius nadar, however, if he made it in the Shemitah year itself, so that is the way Rav and Shmuel learn. So they learn, Rav and Shmuel says, once the Shemitah year comes, it's still asa. It's still asa. The neder that you made is still in vogue. Mm-hmm. The neder that you made before is still in count. It's still there. Guys, clear? One more time. You made a neder. You can't have enough my nechasim. Comes before Shemitah, you can't have enough in the nechasim, both in the field and the fruit. Comes Shemitah, you still can't have. Comes Shemitah, you still can have. Why? Because the neder that I made before and is still in vogue. And what's the lashon? Nechasai, my nechasim. That's Rav and Shmuel. Okay, the same Mitzias, guys, right? The same Mitzias is speaking the Chasai. The Chasai Alecha Lifnei Shvius Ein Yoyri L'Teich Sadeyu. Lifnei Shvius, you can't be Yoyri L'Teich Sadeyu. That makes sense, correct? Ve'ein Oichel Min HaNoitos. Same halacha as what? As Rav and Shmuel. No difference, guys. Before Shmi again, but it's just a classic Muda Hana. Everything is Asa, right? Everything's Asa. Higia Shvius. Now, what do Rav and Shmuel say, guys? What do Rav and Shmuel say? Asa. It's still Asa, right? That's where they argue. If I didn't make a new neder in the Shemitah year, says Rabbi Yochanan, the neder that I made previously is now off. So that's the machlokes. That's the machlokes. Again, if you read it quickly, I read it this morning about 2 times and the number was flying. Slow down. Guys, one more time. Outside. You guy made a neder to the Muda Hana. Reuben said, Shimon, you can't have Hana. Shimon can't go down to his field. Years 1 through 6. Shimon can't anything 1 through 6. Higia Shemitah, says Rav and Shmuel, same din. Says Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, years 1 through 6, Asa. Shemitah, still Asa to go into the field. We have to know why, but the fruit will be mutter. What's the machlokes now? The Sfar machlokes. Why does Rabbi and Shmuel say it's Asa and Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish say it's mutter? What's the Sfar machlokes? What changes when the Shemitah year comes that I had an existing neder and all of a sudden now the fruit is mutter, right? That's what's happening. Like Rabbi Yochanan, the fruit is mutter. Like Rav, it's Asa. Chaim, what are you thinking? I see you. I smell the. Makes sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Because it's new fruit. That fruit didn't have a neder on it.
My nechasai.
But it's not his. It's being grown. That's Shemitah fruit. It's not his. He has no right to that fruit.
Okay, so let's see. Says the Gemara. What's the Svaras Machlokes? What's the Svaras Machlokes? Lema, let us say, this is what they're arguing again. The Rabu Shmuel Savri, Penny or Mem Beis Amid Aleph, that 8 lines up. That Rabu Shmuel Savri, Odom Oise Dava Sheber Shusai, Afilu Shechiyatse Mishusai. Rav and Shmuel are both of the opinion that a person can ask for something that's in his rishus, even when it leaves his rishus. So even though it's leaving my rishus because it's becoming hefker, my neder that I made is still chal. So he's answering your question, right? Yeah, yes.
It's not the same cost.
It is the same property. It's the same property. You know, we're viewing the fruit as coming from this property. It's not nun nechasim. It's not nun nechasim. No. Sold the property, then it's off. It's not the chasam anymore. You don't even have to go so far. According to Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish, Shemitah makes it as right. Right. In the Maskana, you're going to be correct. In the Maskana, Rav and Shmuel are going to agree in the chasai that in fact that it's mutter. They're going to agree. They're going to agree. You're going to see. But right now with this gersa and the Svaras Machlokes is Rav and Shmuel hold that Adam Oiseh Davar Shebeshusai, Afilu Shebeshusai. Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish Savri Ein Adam Oiseh Davar Shebeshusai L'Chashiyatze Beshusai. Okay, let's go through it outside, guys. Outside. Hey, you made a neder. Made a neder that Shimon can't have anah. Years 1 through 6, Shimon can't have anah. Year 7, let's discuss the land. Let's discuss this fruit. Comes year 7, no new neder, existing neder. You didn't make a new neder, right? Says Rav and Shmuel, it's still asa. So Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish, it's mutter the fruit. What's the svarah? Says Rav, a person's asa can asa something in his rishus even when it leaves his rishus. So even though the Shemitah year it's leaving his rishus, it's still asa. Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish say no. Once it leaves your rishus, you can't asa, and therefore the fruit in the Shemitah year which has left your rishus is mutter. It's mutter. That's the machlokes, right? That's the machlokes. And what did he say? Nechasai. Now, guys, what's a bigger chiddush? Guys, what's a bigger chiddush? My nechasim is that with asa or elu nechasim elu. Nechasai my nechasim or elu nichse elu. These nechasim. What would be a bigger chiddush to say that it is mutter? That right? After Shemitah. Why? Because since it's going on the chefza, it's going on. In other words, my nechasai are limited to my jurisdiction. In Shemitah, it's not in my jurisdiction anymore. Elu nichsei, I'm not saying anything about me. I'm saying these nechasim are rasa on you. And the nechasim is a mitzias of the nechasim. Good? Okay, so now.
Shemitah is the fact that they're my nechasim, but can use them?
It's hefka. It's hefka. It's not yours. It's hefka. It's hefka. Neither of it, no. It's hefka. Yeah. Hefka. It's hefka. It's hefka. It is hefka. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000% hefka. Okay, so now v'tizbara mi ikalaman the amar ein adam oiseh davar shebeshusai l'chashiyatzim b'shusai. Who we asking on? Is it possible to say that a person can't ask something when it leaves his rishus? So we're asking on Rabbi Yochanan. We're asking Rabbi Yochanan, right? We're asking Rabbi Yochanan. Let's go with the Bach. What's the Gimel? The Imkain, Lashon Nedarim funny. The Imkain, Niflugu b'nechasim elu, v'kol shekain b'nechasai. Fellas, if you can't asa something that's not in your rishus, it's always to tell me the bigger chiddush. Watch. What's the bigger chiddush to say that it's us? It's still in vogue. Nechasai or nechasim elu. These nechasim elu. That's a bigger chiddush. Why? Because it's out of my jurisdiction. But nechasim elu still, guess what? What? It's still what? It's still us, right? So now, if you Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish held universally that a person cannot asa something once it leaves the rishus, why don't you tell me nechasim elu? Why do you limit it to nechasai? Nechasai, I would think, you know why? Because it's not my nechasim anymore. Guys, it's a nice lumdus, fellas. Guys, listen to this lumdus. Listen. if you say nechasai, you know what I would say? The reason why, I would say exactly like Chaim Lax. The reason why, when it leaves on my rishus, I can't answer it, is it's not mine anymore. It's not my nechasai. Good. But what's your svara, Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish? Your svara is that, you know what? No matter what, I can answer something that when it's not on rishus anymore. So why did you limit it to say nechasai, which would go ahead and really tell me maybe it's nothing to do with leaving, just the fact that it's not mine anymore? Tell me a bigger chiddush. Tell me, afilu, if you would have said nechasim elu, it's still mutter, that would have been a bigger chiddush. But since you didn't say that, it's mashma, that's not the svara. Right? Yeah, it's a beautiful, it's a bit lump, this guys. Since you didn't say nechasim elu, that must be the svara is not because a person can't answer that something that's rishus, because you would have told me the bigger chiddush. When you said nechasai, you must be limited to the fact that no longer is it mine. Beautiful. So that's the Gemara's first kasha. The imkain, if you're telling me a person can answer something that is no longer his, that when it leaves his rishus, niflagu ben nechasim elu, because shechem min nechasai, right? And certainly min nechasai. Visu, a second question. We got a Mishnah in Baba Kama. Hatanan. The Adam Oysa Dava Shebeshusai Lachshetz Beshusai. A person, in fact, can answer something. In other words, I have a Mefurish Mishnah connected you the Amayra, Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. I got a Mefurish Mishnah connected you. Ditnan, a Mishnah. Oimel Ibnoi. Koinim Sha'ata Nenali says to his son, guess what? It's a carbon, usat you and a carbon from me. Again, must have been really, really angry. Must have broke the television in the middle of a game, right? So he must have been really angry. He says, you know what? Forget about it. Mace, if he dies, you're Shena, the son inherits him. Why? What did he say? My nechasim, but he's dead. Right, not nechasim anymore, right? So that's the equal to guys to nechasai. That's now. However, if he says this is kind to you in my lifetime and death, what's the din? In mace lo yershenu. Now, lo yershenu doesn't mean he doesn't inherit him; he means he can't use it. So what do you see? A person can asa something. He's dead. It's not in his rishus anymore. Yet it's still asa. So how can you, Rabbi Yochanan, say a person can't do it? So first of all, I'm asking you from the guts of the Mishnah, the way you learn Peshat. Tell me the bigger chiddush, saying elu nechasam elu rather than nechasai. And Sveitens, I have a Mishnah in Baba Kama that says mefurish, a person can asa something when it's no longer his rishus because this guy's dead. Yes.
There's a difference because it's not the same as the chasim elu. The parallel case.
No, you're right. No, this is not the second case. Is not the case in the chasim elu. It's just proving to you I can asa something when it's no longer in my jurisdiction. That's all. Right. It's not. We're not matching up. We're not matching up. Right. Very good. Very good. We're not matching up. And for the Gemara, shiny hacha the ka'amalei b'chayiv of Maisai. In other words, it's different over here. His lashon neder set it up. He said, "You're going to inherit me, but guess what? Even when I'm dead, boom." And right now, okay. So now. Mikol Mokum Kasha, the first Kasha, guys. Okay, you answered up Rabbi Yochanan the Kasha from the Gemara in Baba Kama. There's special lashon Moisei B'chayav. But what about? Tell me the bigger chiddush. If you hold that a person can not asa something when he leaves his rishus, even if you're saying the chasim elu, that's a bigger chiddush than saying the chasai, which should be limited. You know what? Only when it's mine and not when it's not. So you didn't answer the first one. Ella, you're right, guys. That's such a powerful question. We're changing gears. Ella means what? Dead end, right turn. Ella, b'nechasim elu kuli amalei pligi. If one says b'nechasim elu kuli amalei pligi, that what? That it's asa. Everyone would say a person can asa something that, in other words, Rabbi Yochanan didn't say the case of b'nechasim elu. You know why? Because they would agree with Rav and Shmuel. If you say b'nechasim elu, these are b'nechasim, they would remain asa, even in the Shemitah year, and you won't be able to eat it. He pligi bin nechasai. When you say nechasim, so now comes out Rav and Shmuel now tremendous machmirim guys, right? Rav ki pligi bin nechasai. Rav Shmuel sabri loishna nechasim elu loishna nechasai. Adam oisa dav oisa. A person can asa even you say nechasai, which is a huge chiddush. My nechasim, guess what? They're asa to you even in the Shemitah year when they're not my nechasim, which bothered Chaim Lax. It bothered Chaim Lax so much that the Gemara is going to get off it also. Your svara is a good svara, but yeah. So there, Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish Savi nechasim elu adamaisa, nechasim ein nechasai ein adamaisa. Right? Nechasai ein adamaisa. Because they agree by nechsei elu, but they disagree what by. So machlek is by nechasai. So right now, where are we holding gears, guys? Right now, where we're holding, according to Rabbi and Shmuel, nechasai, I can still asa. According to Rabbi Yochanan, I can't. What about nechasim elu? Even Rabbi Shlokish, Rabbi Yochanan will be maida asa. Right? Okay, that's what we're holding right now. That's what we're holding. What? So what? Machlekes Rabbi Shmuel. Machlekes Rabbi Shmuel. Like Rabbi Shmuel, but like Rabbi Yochanan, it would still be permitted. It'd still be permitted. Nechasa, that's times machlekes. Now, I'm going to disprove Rabbi Shmuel now and say there's no machlekes whatsoever. In other words, I prove to you nechasa elu is no machlekes. I'm going to prove to you nechasai Rabbi Shmuel also be moida that it's mutter. In other words, I'll say there's no machlekes at all. I'll say there's no machlekes at all. Guys, good. So now says the Gemara. You told me Rabbi Shmuel don't make a chilik between nechasai and nechsei elu, right? Says the Gemara. Loishna nechasim elu v'loishna nechasai, like Rabbi Shmuel say, but Tanan, here Avi, you can match it up. I'm a lechaveiroi koinim letoich beischa sha'ani nichnis sadcha sha'ani lokeach. The keyword being sadcha beischa. That's the same as nechasai, mine, right? Yours. Good. Oy shemachru la'acher, or excuse me, mace if he dies. Oy shemachru la'acher muta. Why is it muta? Because it's no longer yours. It's no longer sadcha. No longer beischa. Lebayezeh shani nichnis. What's that? Elu nichsai, guys. Bayezeh sadezu shani lakeach meisa shemachra la'acher asa. So you got a problem, right? You see that what by nechasai, no one argues. Mishnah says everyone says it's muta once it's no longer sadcha, once it's no longer beischa. So what do you have to conclude? Ella, you know, right, guys? Ki Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish ben Chasai, Rabbi Shmuel ben Chasim Elu v'lei pligi. As I told you in the beginning, Kazat is no machlokes. Rav and Rabbi Yochanan was saying they're din by what? Nechasim Elu, and everyone's minded to that. Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan was saying, when can you eat the peiros? When you say Nechasai, everyone's minded to that too. Now going back to the Gemara, it makes a lot of sense. Go back, guys. The Gemara starts off. Rabbi Shmuel Mishavayu, Nechasim Elu Lechel Shmis, because that taka is the truth. Nechasim Elu, they're only there. It's not by Nechasai. We changed the girsa because of the flow of the Gemara, but you can understand why they made a mistake initially, because this is the maskan of the Gemara. Only Nechasim Elu is the rasa. Nechasai is taka muta. In other words, the Chasai always started off. That's the way to learn the Gemara, but you can see why the Gemara mistakenly said that, because that's the maskana. Geshmak. Very geshmak, that's very geshmak, yeah. Okay, very, very geshmak. So again, lemaskana, it comes to Shemitah year, it will make a difference how you ask it. If you made a neder and you said my nechasim rasa to you, everyone will be moida you could eat the fruit. Everyone will be moida you could eat the fruit. If you said that elu nechsai, then everyone will be moida you cannot. Everyone will be moida you cannot. Okay, good. Now, what the Mishnah said, ubeshvias ein yorvi l'toich sadeyu, Shvi, you can't go down, but you could eat the fruit. Now, why could you eat the fruit, guys? Because it's hefker, right? It's hefker. So the field's also hefker, right? The field's also. What's the difference you can eat from the peiros that are noitos? The peiros, guys, that are hanging over, right? The noitos mean they're hanging. Why can you eat the peiros that are hanging over? The peri the hefkera. Inun, because the peiros of hefker, aranami afkara. The ar is also hefker. Like Doc said, everyone can go down into the field. You see they say that the sign you see Shemitah. One of the classic signs is the gate, the wooden gate with the lock broken and open. That's a classic. There, well, go get it. Yehona's son went to get his esrogim. They went to go to the field. It's a geshmaka thing. Go pick your own esrogim. You know. You also, it's geschmack. You go pick your own esrogim, and doesn't cost you a mortgage. Nice. Okay. So you have a kasha. How can you make a distinction between fruit and land? Fruit is hefker. Land is also hefker. So Gemara gives two terutzim. Amaula, but oimdim ilanas ala gevulin. Tell us, when is it mutter to go in that's to get the fruit. If there's no reason for you to go in, you don't go in. So where the tree's standing by the gavul, and you can get there without going in. So that's what it means. Enochinami. If you had to go to the middle of the field to get it, you'd be permitted. The mission is that's on the mission of that what? That the fruit's over there, right over there. So therefore, what?
Because what?
What?
You can't just put a tent in the middle of the field.
You can't stay there. You can just go in to pick it.
Because the Torah said that why, because you can't go into, the lion doesn't have to food that out there, right? That's why.
You can't. In other words, if you no, but it's interesting. If there's no reason for you to go in the field, you can't go in. You're only allowed to go in to get the fruit.
Because Shemitah only mat is the Paris, not the land.
The land is again according to this teretz is it doesn't mean the land. It doesn't say the land's not hefker. It means there's no reason for you to go on the land.
If there's nothing growing there, you're not allowed to walk in.
Yeah. You stomach say you're not allowed to walk in, right? Hesh, you can take a nap. Hesh, I've seen you fall asleep everywhere. That was a layup. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. You're permitted to eat. That's what I'm saying. So now, he says the following. So it. You know, we're worried about. We're worried that you won't be able to go on and you might stay too long. The reason why the land is a gezerah. In other words, you're only able to go in long enough to pick the fruit. What we're worried about is you're going to go in there and stay too long. Very, very fascinating. Look at the last few rounds. The short ones. Oh man, these rounds are over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7, 8 lines from the bottom. Aranami Rachmana Afgrei Klaimar Lulakitas Aperis. Yankel. The hefker is only for gathering the Paris, right? But not for just coming in. The Lama Lo Yara the Soicha Lilka Peser. Why can't you go in to gather the Paris? So you know what the answer is? Amaula Ba'indu Ilana Salagvulin in Achinami. The Lilkait Ilana Shib Emsasa the Mutta. To go in the middle of the field to get it, you would be able to permit it. Labor the Soichai. To go ahead and get the fruit that's on the boundary, loy. As Yankel just said, the Torah didn't mafka the property, only for the purpose of gathering the Paris. So in other words, when our Mishnah said that you can't get into the field, it's speaking about fruit that you could get from the side. But Einachinami, if the fruit, the only way to get it was in the middle of the field, you will be able to go in. That's Ula. So Ula said you'll be able to go in. Rav Shimon ben Yaakov is never letting you go in, guys. Rav Shimon ben Yaakov Gezer Shem Yishua be'Amida u'Mishim Hachi afilu lelaked ilana shebe'emsa sada layered l'saychai. The Hani de Medina Shari the Arachmana Afgarei Mishum Gezera Asa. That the Torah mated is Asa for Gezera. What's the Gezera? That you may stay there too long. The Afgab the Hocha Gazrin on Shemi Yishua be'Amida u'Lael. Okay, Gabi Chayla loy Gaza Shmuel El Shemi Yishua be'Yeshiva. We went the sugya out of being mivaka chayla, guys. You weren't able to sit, right? Because maybe you're going to what? You're going to stay over the stay too long. Avlamidalay gazar, then came lechsa levaka. No one's going to be vaka. I feel loymit. So hasamanu time mishum the kivin the derech mivaka leishev. It's a derech mivaka to sit. Therefore, they were geyser. Okay. So anyway, the bottom line is that the nafkamina between Ula and Rab Shimel Yaakov like Ula. The ones that are on the side you could take. The ones that are in the middle of the field you can go in and get. Like Shemay Yakin, you wouldn't even be able to go in the middle and get only ones on the side, but not the ones in the middle because Gezer Shemi you'll spend too much time there. Thank you for listening. Tomorrow, guys, listen. Tomorrow I won't. The daf is going to be probably in the morning. It's not. I have a PTA, so there won't be any share tomorrow night. It'll be posted. The share will be posted. Okay.